All right, and we're out here on the go. First day using the GoPro. Mom gave it to me as she's seen that I was, continuing down this path, and she said that this would be easier, and they just kind of had it laying around, weren't using it. Had it since 2016, and maybe used it a couple of times on their hunting trip. So I'd appreciate it if you guys like and subscribe. Try to spread this around so that way, as I improve my life, other people can watch through and maybe even help them improve theirs. So go ahead, get this popped in there. Yeah. So as life goes on, some days are going to be tougher than others, and some moments are going to be more enjoyable than others. You just have to realize that it is all just a moment. And as I start to do these runs, I found some music that's calm, that's soothing, that helps me think and process through my emotions, through my thoughts, and keeps intrusive thoughts out and helps me expand the way that I actually think about things. Yesterday, we got off track, didn't do the run till 5 o'clock. It ended up being quite cold. And as we got back on track, completed the morning checklist by 5 o'clock at night. So obviously it wasn't a morning checklist, it was more of a all-day checklist. And as the day went on, it got easier and easier to really focus on what matters, which is, to me, being the change that my kid needs to see. It's difficult to explain, but as a 5-year-old, she's in a huge learning portion and state. And as we continue going down the road, we're going to continue to teach our children the ways of how we live and operate in the world. And as I watch my kid start to change as she's at my house, she starts to envelop more of a security in herself, and she starts to show more confidence in herself and in her decision making. And as it might not seem like a big thing to most people, to me, there is a big thing that happens, and that's every single time she tries to put her boots on, she's always second guessing herself. Every time that she goes to brush her teeth, she's always second guessing herself, not knowing if she's doing it right. And as I go through and I show her and I teach her these things, as she asks questions, I make sure that she is learning from her experience through the thing. And this morning, she ended up grabbing her boots, didn't ask at all, put them on the right feet, and was confident in her decision. And instead of asking me, instead of trying to call her mom to get the answer, she looked at me and said, "Dad, I put my boots on right." And I said, "Yeah, and guess what?" She said, "What?" I said, "You didn't ask for help at all. You did it all by yourself, and you were confident in yourself. Doesn't that feel good?" And the smile on her face just made the whole world a brighter day. And it made me feel like the things that I'm doing and the actions that I continue to follow, the change in my life, change in my perspective, the change that I really needed to overcome and realize, is to have trust in myself, to have trust in my actions. And I see the positive change through my child, and I see the positive change in myself. Now, last night, as my kid called my ex, the ex will say things that will try to resonate with our relationship from the past. And there's not much that I can really do to stop that. As she continues to go through the future, she will learn and understand that I am no longer her boyfriend, and the stuff that she says is not going to be responded to or affect me unless it has to do with our kid. I cannot control when she decides to do so. All I do is just continue to make the action towards so. That's being held up by a branch. That's pretty cool, but kind of dangerous. I could fall and hurt somebody at any time. So what do? We find the problem. We make sure we get rid of it so nobody else can get hurt. So, as she sits there and the kid says, "Where are you going and what are you doing?" She says, "I'm going home. I'm leaving, her grandma's house." And as it was 7:30, we were getting ready to go to bed early that night. So she was saying good night. And then as time went on and we got closer and closer to being in bed, I said, "Hey, go ahead, give your mom a call." She gives her mom's a call, and her mom's on a date with the friend that I used to have. And that friend, I wasn't friends anymore because he was somebody that wasn't helping me move forward in life and would try to drag me back into problems and mistakes because, well, most people, they don't want to make the mistake alone, but they want to continue to make the mistake. So they look for reassurance in that aspect. So that friend and my ex are on a date, and she answers the phone, and the friend ends up talking to my kid, and my kid doesn't understand, doesn't know what's going on. All she knows is that her uncle Terrell is hanging out with her mom. And so as I see two people that are in a path of misery, I lost control a little bit, and I stood up out of my chair as I sat there in silence, trying not to let bad thoughts come into my head. And as I stood up and took a breath, the words, "What a fucking joke," came out of my mouth. And instead of letting it go any farther, instead of doing what I would have done a month ago, grab the phone, call her out, tell her how awful I think everything is, and just go into letting bad thoughts control my actions and my mindset.